So you wanna play
Double Geo Xiao.
Well, first you start with the build. Xiao, the OG Animo DPS, got even better with Faruzan's release. What? You need C6 to actually say that. Oh Despite this, Xiao still actually performs well without Faruzan. All you need is a shielder or healer like Zhongli, Diona, and Bennett, a sub-DPS like Albedo, Geo Traveler, Rosaria, Ganyu, and Xiangling, and a battery like Jean, Sayu, Venti, Sucrose, and Kazuha. For this guide, I'll focus on one of his best teams, the Heaven and Earth team. To make artifact farming a little easier, rather than getting the best 4-piece set for Xiao and his teammates, except for sports, we'll focus on getting their desired stats instead. For Xiao, he can use any 2-piece of Viridescent Vendor, Desert Pavilion Chronicle, and any of the 2-piece attack sets. For weapons, he can use a Staff of Homa or Primordial Jade Winged Spear for 5-star, and Deathmatch or Missive Wind Spear for 4-star. For his supports, Zhongli will use a 4-piece Tenacity, while Albedo can use a 2-piece Archaic Petra and 2-piece Husk, and Geo Traveler can use any 2-piece of Archaic Petra, Noblesse, Emblem, and any of the 2-piece attack sets. And lastly, Jean, Sucrose, and Venti will use a 4-piece Noblesse. If you happen to have a C6 Faruzan, she will use a 4-piece Tenacity, and Zhongli will use a 4-piece Noblesse instead. The rotation. To start the rotation, start with Albedo's skill, then switch to Zhongli and use his hold skill. Switch to Jean and use her burst and skill, then switch to Xiao and immediately use his skill twice and his burst. Then jump and plunge 12 times. Then switch to Jean and use her skill, then quickly switch to Xiao and use his skill.
Wind, hear me! Boring, evil, conquering, worthless. Here. Here.
The pros and cons. Starting with the advantages, they're excellent in AoE scenarios. Xiao has a surprisingly large AoE, even though his plunge animation doesn't look like it. Including Albedo's AoE or Geo Traveler's burst and Zhongli's resonance, this team highly excels against mobs. They're easy and straightforward to play. The rotation has no going back and forth between characters, except when funneling particles to Xiao at the end of his field time. Even so, that funneling time is pretty short if you reach Xiao's ER requirement. C6 Faruzan or C4 Jean isn't mandatory to have. Xiao doesn't necessarily need those two to function as a hypercarry, unlike Raiden and Kujosara or Itto and Goro. If you don't have them, Sucrose with DTDS is a very good substitute. Now for the disadvantages. This team is slightly weak against bosses. Though not necessarily weak in single target scenarios, the team's DPS falls against world bosses because Albedo's flower on his skill gets destroyed easily if not placed properly. Skill requirement increases in single target situations. His attack combo changes from just plunge to normal charge plunge, nicknamed Jet for simplification. It's an attack string that cancels the animation of Xiao's charge attack while still dealing his high charge attack damage. Doing this combo requires perfect timing so as not to waste time and lose DPS on single target scenarios. And that's it for
Double Geo Xiao.
I hope you liked this video. Leave any questions you have in the comments and I'll try to answer them as best as I could. Also subscribe if you want more team guides for the current banner characters. See you in the next video!